would you like, what piece of information would you like to fact check? So, really quickly, 60 seconds with the person next to you. Talk about those 3 questions. Go.
Two things that I'd like to know more about. One thing I'd like to
Okay, I'm going to cut you short there, but it's good, you're talking, right? These questions prompt you to reflect. And that's where the critical thinking comes in. It makes you reflect on what you've heard. It makes you an active respondent rather than just a passive taker of information. And I'm sure you all had different views and opinions about what was most interesting, what was most surprising, what do you want to know more about. And that's good because it drives communication. Okay, other ones we can do. This is more of a academic type thinking routine that helps to develop students' note-taking skills. And it's a bit similar to the go-go task. It's called +1 routine, and it's about note-taking, like I said. So step 1 is they have to recall. So on a piece of paper, you get students to write down as much as they can remember about the text that they've read, the video that they've watched, the lecture that they have listened to. Are they all going to remember the same information? No, of course they're not. Different students retain different information. That's fine. So they recall what they can. They then pass their paper to the person next to them. And that person adds 1 or +1. And that +1 might be further information, a point that that person missed. It might be an example. They might want to add more information to your notes, specifically relating to a certain point. You do that once, you repeat the process. They pass it on to somebody else, they pass it on to somebody else. And then you get your own piece of paper back, and you review it. And of course, your notes have gone just from your notes to your whole group's notes. And so essentially what we're doing here, we're making note-taking a collaborative process, rather than just an individual one, whereby students can compare their own ideas, they can talk about it together in more depth, okay? But again, this creates more active listeners, rather than just passive recipients. But like I say, it's a bit more of an academic type routine. And then the next one I want to share, maybe not quite the last one, is called the 4 C's. Now, I know what you think, oh, I know the 4 C's. Critical thinking, collaboration, communication, creativity. That's different levels, but it's a discussion-based reflective task on something that they've read, something that they've watched. So the first C is all about connections. What connections can I draw between what I've watched, what I've read, and my own life? So in this case, connecting the fast fashion to my life and the clothes that I buy, how I recycle my clothes or reuse clothes. The next thing is about challenge, because we want students not to accept everything that they hear and read. That would make them, a bit susceptible to false information, fake news. So what do you want to challenge? What do you want to disagree with or argue with in the text? So we're encouraging that element. Don't believe everything you read, everything you hear. It's okay to challenge it. The third C is about concepts. What do you think are the key concepts? What is the most important message, most important idea that you've taken from this video, from this story, and why? And again, students will have different viewpoints here. And then the final C is all about changes. Kind of like a conclusion. What are your takeaways from this? What changes in attitude or thinking or action are suggested by the talk? What are you going to do differently? Are you going to change your mindset? Are you going to change your actions because of what you've seen? So in this case, you might think